Come on in. Crystal's here, let's begin. No time for that fake stuff. Diamond in the rough, we dive in. Nose wide. Real talk, hit it hard. Opinions raw and real. Crime talk, that's the deal. Crystal's crime conversations. Real talk, no hesitations. Crystal's crime conversations. Fun around raw, all sensations. Come on in. Fun and raw, all sensations. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I haven't been live in a little bit here. I hope you guys have been watching my videos I made. We're going to go over them again today. I tore apart Ernie and Ziggy's live. I think it's important we go over this. I want people to remember that Ernie was one of the first panel guests that Ziggy has had. And after we're done going over this, I'm going to tear apart the old ones where Ernie was on Ziggy's panel, and we're going to go through and compare. I made these all videos so that I could go through and compare them later to the other live that Ziggy did or two with Ernie back in 2021, 2022. I think it's important. But let's listen to what these idiots have to say. I made them all very fun.
We all know that. I don't want to go into graphic detail of it, but I also heard too that, beforehand, before all this,
Wrong, guys.
I know that the people that I
let me redo this. I hope I don't have to go clear my cache because I might have to. Let's see if it works better. I refreshed it. I apologize. I'm going to go get my pillow.
we all know that. I don't want to go into the graphic detail of it, but I also heard too that, beforehand, before all this, I know that the people that I talked to that used to party with Don in that house, that it was a sex house, and they would go up to Don's and
Guys,
they would screw around.
hold on. I might have to log out and log back in. If I disappear, I'll be right back. It's taking a minute. Sorry. I apologize. Let me make sure I'm still logged into YouTube and StreamYard. Hey, Joe. I'm going to refresh my StreamYard. I'll be right back. Just give me a minute because my videos are having a rough time playing. I apologize. All right, guys. Give me 1 minute here. The Three Stooges lie nonstop. They sure do. I got Laura saying her and Fred were back till. Oh, yeah. I've already gone over that. They said they were there. They left. Jody says it too when they come in with the motorcycle. Oh, yeah. It's been said six. They left at 6:30, and then they come back at 8. All right, let's see if my video will play now. I apologize for all that. Technical difficulties. And they do lie non-stop. And you can add a fourth one because Ernie's in there. And I think he has some very interesting shit to say about traffic.
We all know. I don't want to go into the graphic detail of it, but I also heard too that, before
Come on.
before all this, I know that the people that I talked to that used to party with Don in that house, that it was a sex house.
Oh, I'm getting frustrated.
And they would go up to Don's and
Something always gonna happen. Let me try this. I'm sorry. Maybe what I'm going to have to do is take the other videos off and add them as we go. Because it could just be that this is too long. Let me try that. All right, one more time. I bet it'll work. Oh no, my big head.
go into the graphic detail of it, but I also heard too that, before all this, I know that the people that I talked to that used to party with Don
She's driving
in
me
that
nuts.
in
And
that house, that it was a sex house.
Jesus hell. Hold on, guys. I promise you I'm going to get this to work. Okay, let's try again. Hey, Winged. That crystal scratch and sniff over there.
We all know that. I don't want to go into the graphic detail of it,
Did you see Ernie
but I
kissing?
also heard too that, beforehand, before all this, I know that the people that I talked to that used to party with Don in that house, that it was a sex house, and they would go up to Don's and they would screw around. I've also heard that the kids were there while it happened in a different room, and then they would run into them ever so often.
Yeah.
I know the people before Donnie, before.
All right, I guess I wasted my time putting this together. I guess what we're going to do is go to Ziggy's live and I'll just make that into videos. It took me 3 days to do that, but now because I'm live, it doesn't want to freaking play. So let's just go to YouTube and we'll just watch it on Ziggy because I'm not going to keep holding you guys up. Ridiculous. I'll tear it apart and make it videos. It'll play better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. You probably were already part of the community. I don't remember how it.
I actually wasn't.
Waste of time.
I mean, I was, but I wasn't. I wasn't a part of the actual community. Was coming in, it was during around the same time of the summer wells, and it was that's really what brought me in. And I remember watching your panel, and I seen you, and you was covering it, and there was a bunch of you up there, and I chimed in.
And you jumped up, and Dusty was up there with all your psychics. And Ernie, you still haven't answered me about stopping at Kathy's house on your way to the racetrack to the hotels that you told me on my panel that you never went to. Do you remember that? Because I think we're going to go over that too. Because now all of a sudden you've been to all the fucking hotels again. You change your stories more than you change your fucking underwear, dirtball. But okay.
And next thing you know, gave me a link. I came up, and then the rest is history.
Right. So I thought that we would talk about, like, primarily focus on the Knoxville connection. Do you believe that Summer Wells' disappearance is related to Knoxville?
Yes.
Do you? Okay. So you do believe that for sure?
I believe that it has something to do.
Ziggy, except for here's this. Yes, Dawn had gone to Knoxville. But if you look into all the little players like Music City Mom and all the other ones, you're going the opposite fucking direction. Gatlinburg is going towards Nashville. Knoxville is to the east. Nashville is to the west. I think more people are involved in the Nashville area than they are the Knoxville area here on YouTube. So I think that a lot of people, including you, are leading the wrong direction. I'm going to disagree. I'm not saying Dawn didn't go to Knoxville for drugs or admit to it or that it can't be possible. However, the money laundering and all your little fucking buddies come from the west, not the east. And I'm going to call it out. Okay.
Do with it maybe before what actually happened. I do know for a fact that Don had Summer in Knoxville. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people.
Ernie, I'd like receipts. You state that you know a lot of facts here throughout this whole thing, especially about the trafficking. You got me really, really fucking worried about why you know so much about the trafficking. Like, I get it, you worked at the Hay House, but weren't you fired for doing shady shit involved with those people? In the same live, you tell us that Lawson and Hawkins County want you to stay the fuck out of the case. There's a reason for that, in my opinion.
Well, I know that, certain things. We both have been interviewed. We all, let's just say this: we all have been interviewed. We all have had our say-ins and set-ins with law enforcement. Correct?
Yeah.
No, Nashville's to the west, Knoxville's to the east. Would you like to see? I mean, yeah. Here's Nashville. Hold on. Here's where Rogersville is, up in here. Knoxville's right here, and Nashville's to the west. Nashville's not in the east, so we're looking right at it. Here's Nashville. Here's Knoxville. Okay, I guess they are both to the west. Here's Kingsport, but Nashville is more west. Knoxville is the east side of Tennessee. Nashville is central Tennessee. Jackson is west Tennessee. Nashville is more west than Knoxville is. That's all I'm saying. No need for an argument about it. Okay.
So, I know what I said and what I told, and I've heard bits and pieces of what others have said. Because once you start, you learn. Okay, so there's a thing of filling out the agents. You learn the agents. The agents talk to you here and there. But the thing about Knoxville that really stood out. When I was doing these trafficking classes, when I was doing this general awareness, I always said the hotels, even Don.
Ernie, I would like to see certificates from your trafficking classes. I would like to know who trained you for trafficking classes, and I would like to see your certifications.
Even when Don was doing the interview, when I was doing the interview with him, that was brought up. You remember that?
Yeah. Yep. And he was getting phone calls about, being at places in hotels and seeing children traded for drugs and, so.
I think all I meant was Nashville is more west. Okay. I don't know the whole layout, but I know Nashville is central. Maybe Knoxville is west. Does it really matter? I still don't think that Knoxville is the space. I feel like we see people like Ryan Upchurch, who's putting out rewards, who TT connects to, because TT states that she knows Ryan and his whole family. It's in our messages. All of the country people, Music City Mom, they all come from Nashville. If you look at 90% of Summer Wells creators that are from Tennessee, 90% of them come from the Nashville area. Just pay attention. That's troublesome to me. Yeah, they're both west of the Wells, but what I meant was it's more west. Nashville is more west. And I just feel that Ziggy has been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing the Knoxville connection, so I feel like we should be looking elsewhere. She makes up stuff about this Playboy. Now, if I'm correct, I've tried to look and I can't confirm it, but Playboy was arrested in 2020, July. His charges were pretty big. I'm going to assume, I'm not saying it's fact, but when Summer went missing, I'm going to bet that dude was in prison. I don't know for fact. I've been unable to confirm it, but the timeline and his charges, he had gun charges, he had drug charges, he wrecked, he had those charges. I'm going to bet that dude was in jail since he had warrants for his arrest in Knoxville for trafficking from 2013. I'm going to bet the dude was in prison and didn't take summer. You see, Ziggy mentioned a new person that is now friends with Playboy that knows all the information that she's speaking to, and she won't give a name. Ziggy, I want fucking names. Like, I'm not even playing. Hold on a minute, guys. My dog's acting a fool. I'm going to have my kids put him out. I'm going to let this play. Yeah, the NASCAR was definitely there when Andrew and them came in. There was a big NASCAR race that week. All right, let me let this plane go take care of my dog who's crying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then, I don't know if you ever had a chance to listen to that call, that Lady of the Night call that I was asking you to listen to about the Knoxville call, where the woman claimed to have known of Dawn and then found out the other person was Andy. She said a friend would come there sometimes, and I sent a picture of Andy, and it was confirmed that that's who they believed it was, allegedly. And anyway, she said that Dawn and Andy used to come out there and to these, get fronted drugs off a guy named Playboy, guy that went by Playboy. I believe this guy is dead now, unfortunately. That I think
he's dead. He's dead.
That's who I believe it is. Unfortunately, it might be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be a good thing if maybe people are like willing to talk now. They might feel safer. Maybe.
It's what they done. It's what they done in exchange for drugs. What really got me is when I heard that you and Fred was together, I thought, I was like, well, that's pretty unique. That's something how you guys actually met, right? Yeah. And I was like, it shocked the community. But I always knew that, Fred could be a piece of the puzzle, but he could also be a key. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And by that, I knew what I had already with the field interviews I'd done in Knoxville with the hotels. As a matter of fact, a couple of those hotels that Don went to and done his dealings with in there was ones that was brought in for human trafficking, not even a month ago?
Well, yeah. And also, actually, a bunch of them were raided about a couple weeks after Fred went in and had them dip his phone and stuff with his conversation to this guy named DJ Smith, who was just so happened to be at the same transitional housing place in Knoxville that Fred was. It was really odd how Fred got placed in Knoxville. It almost seemed intentional, like law enforcement.
It was intentional. That was.
Oh man, but yeah, Killer Looks. He got arrested sleeping in a car in Knoxville for trafficking and died later. Oh, the one that I believe is Playboy. I mean, that's just a theory. I believe the guy's name is Marcus Washington, and he's deceased now. Playboy. That's just a theory. I am just going by his connections to Rogersville and him arrested in Rogersville for warrants out of sex trafficking out of Knox County in Knoxville area, and his Vice Wars ties and all that stuff. And he died in 2023, May of 2023, and. They have been selling her Yeah. What do you believe it's Marcus Washington killer looks? I mean, now it's okay. I feel like it's okay to say because he's not with us anymore, but
Convicted human trafficker kidnapper nabbed in Rogersville with guns and drugs. By Jeff Bobo, September 28th, 2020. Rogersville. A convicted sex offender and member of the Vice Lords criminal organization with convictions for sex trafficking and kidnapping was arrested Saturday morning in Rogersville after he reportedly passed out under the influence of drugs and drove into a ditch. Marcus Douglas Washington, 48, who was listed on his jail book in sheet as a homeless resident of Knoxville, was allegedly in possession of 3 firearms and a large quantity of unidentified powder narcotics at the time he was arrested. Rogersville Police Department officer Josh Bird stated in his report that shortly after 6 a.m. Saturday, he observed a 2019 Nissan Sentra in a ditch near the Chip Hill Center at the intersection of Clinch Street and Hassan Street. Bird said it appeared that the vehicle had been traveling east on Clinch Street when it apparently passed through the intersection and entered a grassy area, coming to a stop in a ditch. When Bird approached the vehicle, he reportedly observed Washington asleep behind the wheel with a syringe under his left leg, the engine running and transmission shifted to drive. Aliases include Khalifa L. Salik and X. Douglas Lucifer. Washington reportedly told police he became sleepy while driving and must have fallen asleep. Bird said Washington had difficulty speaking and didn't seem to know where he was. A NCIC search revealed that Washington was wanted in Knox County for violation of sex offender registry requirements. And he also has a fugitive warrant that was issued by the U.S. Marshal Service.
It's a bad dude, very
Bird
bad
said
dude.
the NCIS report also indicated that Washington is considered armed and dangerous with violent tendencies. Among his aliases are Khalifa Al Salik and X. Douglas Lucifer. After arresting Washington, officers searched his vehicle and allegedly found guns and narcotics. In the trunk, officers allegedly located an unloaded Saga 12 semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun and a fully loaded magazine, a Braco 38 caliber handgun, and a Army Tanfoglio .25 caliber handgun, both of which were loaded with 1 round in the magazine. A pink box in the front passenger seat allegedly contained 2 types of powder, one weighing 12 grams and the other weighing 0.76 grams. Officers also seized a variety of drug paraphernalia. I accidentally skipped a part. I forgot to read a part. Washington also allegedly had 14 unopened buprenorphine packets in his wallet. I skipped that part. I apologize. Including syringes, small bags, a marijuana grinder, cut straws, a butane lighter, and bottle caps, often used for cooking needle drugs. Coerced prostitution from drug addiction women. The NCIC report confirmed that between 1997 and 2016, Washington had been convicted on multiple felonies, including kidnapping, sex trafficking, firearms possession, and possession of dangerous narcotics. The report also showed that he was a confirmed member of the Vice Lords. According to a U.S. Department of Justice report, Washington pleaded guilty on November 21st, 2016, in U.S. District Court in Knoxville to one count of conspiracy to commit commercial sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, conspiracy to possess with intent to distribute, Schedule 2 controlled substance, and possession with intent to distribute a Schedule 2 controlled substance. In 2017, he was sentenced to 10 years of incarceration in federal prison to be followed by 3 years of supervised release. According to court documents, on September 25th, 2013, Knoxville County Sheriff's Department deputies arrested Washington after he arranged for a woman to meet an undercover officer in a hotel for paid sex. Police seized oxycodone from Washington at the time of his arrest. The Department of Justice report states that Washington recruited the woman to engage in prostitution, knowing that she was addicted to oxycodone and that she feared withdrawal sickness. In the weeks prior to his arrest, Washington withheld oxycodone from the woman as a means to compel her to prostitute for his profit. Washington also kept all the money from the prostitution in addition to manipulating her addiction and fear of withdrawal symptoms. Washington assaulted and threatened physical harm against the woman. RPD Chief Doug Nelson told the Times News on Monday, "It is unknown at the time why Washington was in Rogersville Saturday, but an investigation is underway." Washington was charged Saturday with 3 counts of possession of a firearm by convicted felon, possession of Schedule 3 narcotics, and possession of drug paraphernalia, with more charges pending completion of crime lab testing on the powder that was seized from his vehicle. Washington was being held with no bond set in the Hawkins County Jail. Here's what I'm going to do. I just turned my phone on. I don't have Facebook, but I've been using my husband's. So we're going to go look up Mr. Washington's wife, Anita. We're going to send her a message and we're going to point her to Ziggy's channel and see what she has to say about Ziggy and what Ziggy is saying, and see if we can find out where Washington was on June 15th. Give me 1 second here. Oh, Nikki, if you're watching, yeah, I want to meet up for Friday for lunch. Yes. Sounds good. I'm live on the tube. I'll write you later. Okay. Looks like I have a lunch date Friday. Okay, hold on. Let's go to Facebook. Now, her name was Anita Washington from Knoxville. I think I found her. Hold on. Let's make sure this is her. Because we're going to let this dude's family know that Ziggy's on here accusing. That might not be it. Hold on. Let me go back to my video here. If I don't do this now, if I can't find the right one, I promise you we're going to search and we are going to find this man's family and we're going to invite them to YouTube to see what's going on. Listen to me, Ziggy. I think it's extremely dangerous that if this man is a vice lord, as reported, that you keep putting him out there and you are literally putting you and Fred's life in danger by doing so, right? Uh, Marcus was the son of Anita and the late Vernice, who has died. He is a loving. Hold on. Let's see. Can we go back? All right, guys. I'm having a hard time finding the people, but I'm going to read this again later and I'm going to contact the church that he went to, Zion Baptist in Knoxville, and we are going to find people that know this man and we're going to speak to them on what they think if this man could have been involved in Summer's case. I think it's extremely important that we hear from people that knew these people, since Ziggy's been putting his name out there for 3 years now. I'm not saying the guy don't look suspicious. I'm not saying he doesn't have a criminal background. But what I'm saying is you can't get on here and accuse people of kidnapping somebody like you know something. Don't you think the TBI would quit looking if they thought the kidnapper was dead? You got Ziggy on this live with Ernie talking about they knew of a house. Maybe it wasn't this live. It's a different live, which I tore apart a little bit of. She knew of a house where Summer was kept in Knoxville. And she knows for a fact Summer was alive just 1 year prior to today. 1 year before. And she knows that Summer was seen in Knoxville. Have y'all been listening to her and hearing what she's saying? Ziggy, if that's the case, why the fuck ain't you turn it in when you knew where Summer was alive? You're telling us a year ago you knew Summer was alive at the bottom of the street in Knoxville. Why didn't you turn that in the feds a year ago? That's what the fuck I want to know. Since you have all this fucking information that you keep coming out here and stating you knew Summer was alive a year ago? Well, see, bitch, then we have a problem. You want to grab a fucking link and show me? You need to fucking stop. I think Summer's community has had a fucking enough of you. Suspect Marrier.
It was intentional. They had the hand in that. They had the oversight of that. You know that. Because when you remember when I was I ain't want to say his last year, way last year, when I was like, I need to get a hold of Fred, and he talked to Fred, and he was like, well, there's a Knoxville. And at that time, he didn't know my stand.
I don't think it's for money. And let me tell you why, A1. Here's Ziggy, who portrays herself as a poor girl, right? She's renting this apartment. But all of a sudden, she has permission for Fred to build her an office. And she has money to build all this shit while she's been gone for 2 months. This bitch ain't have no job. She's being handed money, and her parents have a lot of fucking money. I don't think that Ziggy needs the fucking money. I think she's hiding the main suspect of Summer's case. And I think that there is a reason for that. Ziggy most definitely does not need money. I can almost guarantee that. And when she gets on here and says she's broke and goes to Dollar General, in my opinion, it's all fucking fake. Where'd you get money for the office, Ziggy? For Fred to just come in and build you a new office out of nowhere. Where'd you get the fucking money, cunt? I'm fed up with you. Ziggy in no way needs fucking money. Go look her parents up, guys. I promise you she's not fucking poor. Her parents actually own condominiums down in fucking Miami Beach. She lived a block away from my criminal ass father. Ziggy, I'm not playing with you. You're not pulling no shit over my fucking eyes. Ernie, I want to know how you know so much about fucking human trafficking babies. Because I find a fucking problem with all these stories you have. Illegal stories. Things you're not allowed to do as somebody who is not an officer of law. And I'm calling it the fuck out.
I didn't know his stance. You know how it was. Now I do. And I'm like, we're on the same page. I'm just going to say that. We are on the same page. And that's what I want to be. I want to be on the same page. I don't want to be on a different sheet of music and, playing.
You know what's really funny? I tell you guys all that I think that my family might have had some connections here. Truthfully, my connections are to Ziggy. Like I said, she lived a block away from my father. My father has business in stock in windmills. Guess what Ziggy's father fucking does? Holy shit, the man builds fucking windmills for the electric company before he retired a year ago. You wouldn't fucking believe it. Y'all, go look. It's not a fucking joke. Little Miss Money Launderer, psychic network bitch. Why don't you tell the people how you started with Ernie out here and Dusty? The ones who were at the racetrack and hotels that you're speaking about today. You still sus as fuck. Don't think you're going to come out here and just try to change everything like you're something. Your stories are 100% stories. And they're ridiculous. And like I said, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to bet Marcus Washington was in jail the day Summer went missing. Just a theory.
In a different tune. I don't want that.
It wasn't the
I
right.
want to be on the same page.
It just wasn't the right timing at the time for us to really speak, or for Fred to you know.
Come on,
But
Rapper.
now's more like appropriate time.
Why ain't you okay? What's the matter? We all gotta be okay.
Since he's here and everything. He's here. He just doesn't like going on camera and all that. He's standing here. He'll probably chime in. Have you
How you doing, Fred?
Hey, Ern.
I'm on this.
How you doing, buddy? Hey, it's good to hear from you, man. I hope you're well.
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Yeah, 2 years clean, the 13th of this month. So
That's good. That's good. You got some.
And then she'll go on to say he's 2 years clean, but he was in jail 2 years ago. That's how he got clean, Ziggy. Fred had no choice. It ain't like he did it on his own or there's something to be proud of. Yeah, am I proud of Fred for staying clean all this time? I really think it's because you got a fucking whip and leash on him. Boo! Or maybe y'all are even using together and hiding that shit. Who the fuck knows?
Somebody for your inspiration, man. That's great, brother.
So you say you talked to about
That's the funniest thing. Susan, at the end of this live, right before she ends it, the daughter comes in the room and says, "But Mom, it's a peace offering." So they must have been fighting right before Ziggy went live. Just saying. I noticed it.
a bunch of the motels like down there, right? Did you talk to owners of motels?
I did. I talked to the people who had the extent. Let's just say this: to the people that had the extended stay live-ins there. You know, they do it bi-weekly, or when you know a hotel and you stay at a hotel, usually they have this law that you can only stay like so many days, and then after the 30 days, 29.
Ernie, the disgusting thing is that after I brought this out a year ago, you denied it. Now you're back to saying it. I would like for you or Dusty to put that fucking video out again of you searching the racetrack and the hotels. I would like to see them videos where you're harassing people at the hotel across the street from the racetrack. Because you absolutely did. One of y'all need to put them fucking videos back out. You're damn lucky I lost my Dropbox because I had them bitches.
9 days or whatever, you have to start again. You can't stay the full 30 days. Well, some of them, those extended stay hotels, they're weekly, and some of them are even monthly. So people actually live in those.
Mm-hmm.
They live in them.
Right.
So if you're going to live in them, you're going to bring your same lifestyle that you do if you had a regular house. If you had a hotel, it's the same thing. You're going to still bring your lifestyle with you, correct?
Yep.
Because it's repetitious.
Yeah, I'm just taking notes so I
But
remember.
yes, I talked to her.
Because I'll forget if I'm writing stuff down that I'm thinking about asking you about and bringing up because I'll forget it. So I have to write it down so I remember. Because you mentioned something about the motel's structure and how a lot of times they would be they would have a section kind of marked off for the trafficking, like basically the motel owner and the traffic.
They're in on it. They're in on it because they're getting paid a percentage of it.
Hey, Ziggy, can I ask a question? And I think you, Fred, and Ellie Mae Karen Elliott need to answer it. You're talking about all these hotels with Fred. Well, why don't you tell these people how Fred's sister worked at AmeriCorps when Layla went missing? You definitely would know all about this shit, wouldn't you? Tell them, Ziggy. Let's talk about the hotels that you and Fred are connected to.
That's the way it works.
Did you know
am I right, Fred? I'm right, ain't I?
Yep.
I'm right.
Yeah.
They're in on it.
And that's what this woman in this call told me. And she claimed the name,
I didn't know
the guy that the owner of the motel that she knew about was the owner was named Habib. He went by Habib.
Yeah, Habib is his name, Habib or whatever the hell it is. Who it is?
Is a motel at.
Rap, I'm so sorry you're going through that. I know what it's like. I'm fighting with my whole family right now over this shit, over the YouTube shit. You wouldn't fucking believe how shady people have gotten. Why does Ziggy and Ernie both know the same Habib in the same hotels? Anybody wonder about that? Yes, sir. Watch my live. Come chat with us. If anybody wants to link and come up to talk about Fred and Ziggy, you're welcome to. I'll throw it here. And if anybody's planning on going live or gets me $10 off my monthly StreamYard, you could sign up using my StreamYard. And just because Ziggy's a cunt and I don't want to be struck, let's share her link as well. Everybody go give Ziggy a look. Don't fucking like this shit. Okay. I'm really curious why y'all know all about the same hotels and the same people and the same criminals, and it's a whole hour and 57 minutes of you and Ernie talking about all the same people you know. Kind of a scary thought, isn't it?
She was particularly talking about, she said from the front of the building, you would think it was just one level. But in that,
Right.
you know, but you go around the back and there's two levels and you know, most people don't go back there. Most people don't even,
No.
and they have regular customers for the front, you know, and they get, but in the back, they have reserved rooms.
It's the same as they had in Ocala.
I wish
It's
I
the
had
same
it.
as they did in Ocala, Florida, with those hotels that I can't say, but it's the same.
Chapman Highway one.
Chapman Highway.
Chapman Highway, yep.
Yeah, so right around
and there's something else too, Fred. You know, down there in Cherry Street, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I was about to say Cherry and Magnolia.
Yeah, it's right.
So this
Good stuff right there.
Tiger Ops took a drone around. I don't want to say this probably,
Thank you
but
for being here.
we had aerial view literally going down on those hotels. You can see the geographical area of it. You can see the dimensions of it. Sorry about that. The dimensions of it, and you can see that. It's just like same as in Ocala, Florida. You know, the way they did last year. 24. It was in July. It was in June or July of last year. The way they did it. But the biggest thing now, you know, with what's going on with that big raid, especially with the raid, what they did is they rattled cages, a lot of cages, to where they would move children everywhere, start moving this out, getting everything going out of the way. And the only reason they do that is so they can round up, they can capture. They're easier to capture because they have their surveillance teams.
I can agree.
They've had their surveillance teams for 2.5 or 3 months. So, you know, that's how it works. And but down there on, like you said, that Magnolia and other little Exit 8, let's say Exit 8 too as well. They got the bigger hotel names and the smaller hotel names, and even on the Days Inns down there, man, I'm telling you, right?
Yep. Interesting that I found interesting that I didn't know, and I didn't look into it to confirm it, but you mentioned something about that they would refer to the children as dogs, that was a code. That interesting.
Okay, so what it is kiddie pools. It's kiddie pools, and kiddie pools is a gathering like the hotels, but what they also have is a phrase that Fred may know. It's called hawks. That's their eyes.
Hawks. Yeah, but Fred's not really into, like, he doesn't. I mean, he didn't really know people he didn't know people that were involved in trafficking.
No. I'm talking about it's just a general term. Hawks of any kind of any.
I'm looking for the live where Ernie was on my panel, but I'm finding other stuff I did about Ernie, and I think it's important because we're going to go over this. This is going to take a couple days to go through. You know, I'm on for 2 hours. However, let's remind you guys of where Ernie worked in Kingsport. And what happened to the Hay House? It was shut down because people who worked there were criminal as fuck. And you see, that's where all the criminals went. Like Andy Bernard went there and had to do services with them because he was in trouble with the law. So Ernie has met a shit ton of criminals through the Hay House in Kingsport. And I think that's important. He sure did. No, I don't think he's playing Ziggy. I think him and Ziggy knew each other prior. I really fucking do. I think Ernie and Fred knew each other prior. You got to think about it. All the charges Fred has had, getting in trouble in Kingsport, and this is where Ernie worked. Come on, what's going on here?
The Hay House shut down in Kingsport with very little explanation. An investigative report released today shows the facility closed in part because of problems with the employment of the director's son-in-law.
Kevin Cassidy looked through a report released by the state controller of the Treasury and learned what that investigation uncovered. Sarah and Josh, the comptroller's office released a report detailing the results of the investigation into allegations of malfeasance at the Hay House. Now, investigators found the director's son-in-law, who was hired at the Hay House in 2014, was convicted of a felony. And in 2000, now he was a T-Dot corrections officer and smuggled a knife to an inmate and paid or promised to pay that inmate to harm another. Now, the son-in-law pleaded guilty to solicitation of attempted second-degree murder. Then in 2019, the Hay House director's son-in-law was indicted on 5 counts of theft. According to the report, in 2018, the son-in-law was arrested for theft while purchasing supplies for the Hay House. An offender living at the facility was with him. The Hay House continued to pay the director's son-in-law until he was fired in June 2018. The report states it's unclear if his timesheets between his arrest and termination were accurate. Other report findings included that a registered sex offender was employed at the Hay House for about 2 months. You can read the entire report released by the comptroller's office right now on WJHL.com.
Kingsport state investigators have issued a report on the John R. Hay House of Sullivan County, finding that the nonprofit organization made questionable salary payments to an employee and employed convicted felons, including a registered sex offender, for nearly 2 months. The investigation into allegations of malfeasance was done by the Tennessee Office of the Comptroller of the Treasury in conjunction with the Tennessee Department of Corrections, TDOC, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The investigation began after the TDOC identified and reported fiscal and contractual issues at the Hay House and was limited to records from July 2017 through January 2019. Founded in 1981, the Hay House 427E, Sullivan St. provided aid and assistance to people with criminal records. It ceased operations in June 2019. The nonprofit was funded primarily through an annual TDOC grant, along with some funding from the United Way and payments by residents for room and board. The Hay House was governed by a 9-member board of directors, which appointed Chuck Walsh as its director, along with other employees responsible for the day-to-day operations. Employing a convicted felon. Investigators found that the Hay House employed Walsh's son-in-law, Eric Monday, who was a convicted felon. According to the report, Monday began working at the Hay House in December 1997 as a transportation officer until March 2000, when he was.
So, from what I gather, the Hay House is a place where if somebody went to jail, they get out of jail, they get to sign up to meet their probation officers, they got to join programs, like whatever the judge tells them to do. And, oh, wow. And allegedly Ernie essayed. I didn't know that. Okay. But Ernie worked at this place where people who got let out of prison had to go, like, do programs. Yeah. That's a better way to put it. Thank you, Truth Hurts.
was hired by TDOC as a corrections officer. In July 2000, TDOC fired Monday after he admitted to smuggling a knife to an inmate and then promising to pay that inmate to harm another inmate. Monday subsequently pleaded guilty to attempted second-degree murder. However, in February 2014, the investigative report states Hay House again employed Monday as a case officer, eventually rising to the rank of facility manager. Questionable compensation. According to the report, Monday was indicted for theft while working at Hay House and received questionable compensation. In January 2019, Monday was indicted on 5 counts of theft of $1,000 or less. The matter is currently pending in Sullivan County. The indictment rose from several incidents in February and March 2018, when Monday and an offender at Hay House allegedly took items from a Kingsport store. These thefts took place when Monday was purchasing supplies for Hay House. Investigators say Hay House continued to pay Monday after he was arrested in April 2018, and until he was terminated in June 2018, for lack of work due to budget cuts. Since he was terminated for lack of work, Monday was able to file for unemployment in July 2018. Investigators say there's more than $7,100 in questionable payments to Monday from April 2018 until June 2018. Some of his timesheets include time off for vacation and excused leave, neither of which is allowed under the policy of Hay House. Registered sex offender. Investigators found Hay House employed a registered sex offender as a cook from August 2018 until October 2018. Neither the TDOC grant that funds the nonprofit organization or Hay House policy specifically states that employees must pass a background check. However, investigators say it should be reasonably expected that the purpose of a background check would be to determine that people who supervise those with criminal records do not have criminal records of their own. The report further lists 2 internal control and compliance deficiencies that TDOC did not detect Hay House employed convicted felons, and that TDOC did not detect an employee accrued and used leave in violation of Hay House policy. Sullivan County District Attorney Barry Staubus said he intends to submit the matter to the grand jury later this month to determine if there was any criminal activity or just administrative problems with the Hay House.
February 4th, 2020. Tennessee Department of Correction. Commissioner Tony Parker. 326th Avenue North. Nashville, TN 37243. Commissioner Parker. The Office of the Comptroller of the Treasury conducted an investigation of selected records of the John R. Hay House, Inc., and the results are presented herein. Copies of this report are being forwarded to Governor Bill Lee, the State Attorney General, the District Attorney General of the 2nd Judicial District, certain state legislators, and various other interested parties. A copy is available for public inspection in our office and may be viewed at http://www.comptroller.tn.gov/ia/. Sincerely, Justin P. Wilson, Comptroller of the Treasury. Investigative Report. John R. Hay House, Inc. The Office of the Comptroller of the Treasury, in conjunction with the Tennessee Department of Correction, TDOC, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, investigated allegations of malfeasance related to John R. Hay House, Inc. The investigation was initiated after TDOC officials identified and reported fiscal and contractual issues. This investigation was limited to selected records for the period July 1, 2017 through January 25, 2019. The results of the investigation were communicated with the Office of the District Attorney General of the 2nd Judicial District. Background. The John R. Hay House, Inc., JRHHH, located in Sullivan County, was founded on August 14, 1981, for the purpose of providing aid and assistance to persons with criminal records who reside in the Upper East Tennessee area. JRHH ceased operations on June 30, 2019, after the joint investigation provided community support through the following services: substance abuse treatment, housing, food, clothing, transportation, recreation, legal services, educational and employment services, financial and personal counseling, assistance in obtaining mental and physical health treatment services, and community placement assistance. JRH was a 501c3 nonprofit public benefit corporation funded primarily through an annual TDOC Community Correction and Substance Abuse Treatment Services Grant TDOC grant awarded over a 2-year period. JRHH also received funding from residents for room and board, as well as financial support from the United Way and other public donations. JRHH was governed by a 9-member board, which appointed a director and other officers who were responsible for conducting JRHHA's day-to-day operations. The TDOC grant contract for the period provided that evaluation and monitoring of all grant-funded programs and financial expenditures, including on-site visits by TDOC staff and/or their designees, should be carried out in keeping with monitoring instruments created by the TDOC. The results of investigation. JRHH employed the director's son-in-law, a convicted felon. JRHH and TDOC records indicate that the JRHH director's son-in-law began working for JRHH in December 1997. The son-in-law worked at JRHH as a transportation officer until March 1, 2000, when he was hired by TDOC as a corrections officer. On July 27, 2000, TDOC terminated the director's son-in-law due to his admission of smuggling a knife to an inmate and either paying or promising to pay the inmate to harm another inmate. These actions led to his termination and criminal charges. The director's son-in-law subsequently pled guilty to attempted second-degree murder solicitation, a Class C felony. On February 17, 2014, JRHH again employed the son-in-law, this time as a case officer, and he eventually rose to become the JRHH facilities manager. In each of these positions, the director's son-in-law had supervisory responsibilities over inmates and was paid with TDOC grant funds during the period of our investigation. According to the signed TDOC grant contract for fiscal years 2018 to 2019, the grantee JRHH will have background checks performed by the vendor designated by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to perform background checks on all staff involved in offender supervision. In addition, JRH policy states that all potential employees will have a background check by an approved vendor prior to employment, and all employees are required to have a yearly background check. Although the TDOC grant contract and JRHH policies do not specifically state employees must pass the ordered background checks, it should reasonably be expected that the purpose of background checks is to ensure employees involved with supervising and rehabilitating persons with criminal records do not have criminal records themselves. The director's son-in-law's JRHH personnel files included background check documentation. However, investigators could not determine the completeness of the background checks. The background check documents were questionable because they did not document the director's son-in-law's prior criminal history. The most recent background check documentation included registration and a bill for services performed by a TBI-approved background check vendor on November 13, 2017, but the results of the background check were not included. Because the JRHH facilities manager is the director's son-in-law, it is likely the director was aware of his son-in-law's criminal history, and that he knew a background check would reflect a criminal charge. JRH employing the director's son-in-law may have put the safety of JRHH offenders and other employees at risk. The JRH director's son-in-law was indicted for theft while working for JRHH and received questionable compensation. On January 23, 2019, the JRHH director's son-in-law was indicted on 5 counts of theft of $1,000 or less. The indictment arose from several incidents in February and March 2018, when the director's son-in-law and an offender housed at JRHH allegedly took items from a Kingsport, Tennessee store without purchase or permission. These acts occurred while the director's son-in-law was purchasing supplies for JRHH. The director's son-in-law was arrested for the alleged thefts on April 19, 2018, and was released later that day. Police reports document the JRH director was present when his son-in-law surrendered to police. JRH continued to pay the director's son-in-law after his initial arrest until he was terminated on June 29, 2018, for a lack of work due to budget positions cuts. Since the director's son-in-law was officially terminated for a lack of work, he was able to file for unemployment compensation on July 1, 2018, according to the TDOC grant contract. The grantee JRH will notify the state in writing within no more than 48 hours when either a grantee staff member involved in the grantee's financial operations or a non-grantee staff member with fiduciary responsibility leaves grantee employment either voluntarily or involuntarily. If there are allegations of financial impropriety on the part of the departing employee, the reason must be included in the written notice. JRHH did not notify the TDOC of the arrest or eventual termination of the director's son-in-law. According to board minutes and communications, the JRHH board authorized the continued employment of the director's son-in-law until his related court appearance. However, it is unclear why the JRH director did not communicate the arrest and eventual termination to the TDOC. It is also unclear if timesheets for the director's son-in-law between the date of his arrest and the date of his termination reflect actual hours worked. Several of the director's son-in-law's timesheets during this period included vacation and excused leave. JRHH policy states, annual leave is not paid or accrued by Hay House, Inc. JRHH policy does not authorize any other types of leave, and board minutes do not reflect that the son-in-law's leave was authorized by the board. It also appears that individuals other than the director's son-in-law signed his name on timesheets during this period. The JRHH director signed and approved all but one of his son-in-law's timesheets. The following table summarizes questionable compensation received by the son-in-law between the date of his arrest and the date of his termination. Pay period payroll check date questionable gross compensation. April 9th, 2018, April 22nd, 2018, April 25th, 2018, $235.20. April 23rd, 2018, May 6th, 2018, May 9th, 2018, $1,176.00. May 7th, 2018, May 20th, 2018, May 23rd, 2018, $1,176.00. May 21st, 2018, June 3rd, 2018, June 6th, 2018, $1,176.00. Bonus June 6th, 2018, $1,000.00. June 4th, 2018, June 17th, 2018, June 20th, 2018, $1,176.00. June 18th, 2018, June 28th, 2018, July 3rd, 2018, $1,176.00. Total questionable gross compensation $7,115.20. For timesheets, the director's son-in-law worked April 19th and April 20th, which totaled $235.20 in gross compensation. The son-in-law was arrested on April 19th and released later that day. For timesheets, the director's son-in-law used 56 hours vacation leave and 24 hours excused leave. Vacation leave and excused leave are not authorized per JRHH policy. The son-in-law's gross compensation for leave taken was $1,176. For timesheets, the director's son-in-law took 40 hours vacation leave. Vacation leave is not authorized per JRH policy. The son-in-law's gross compensation for leave taken was $588. JRHH employed a registered sex offender as a cook from August 9, 2018 to October 3, 2018. According to the signed TDOC grant contract for fiscal years 2018 to 2019, JRH was required to perform background checks on all staff involved in offender supervision. JRH policy also mandated background checks for all potential employees before employment and annually thereafter. While the policies did not explicitly require employees to pass these checks, the intent was to ensure staff involved in supervising and rehabilitating offenders did not have criminal records themselves. JRH management could not provide the sex offender's personnel file, leaving investigators unable to determine his responsibilities or if a background check was conducted. However, it was determined that JRHH paid the sex offender employee $2,425.50 in gross compensation from sources other than the TDOC grant. Although not paid from the TDOC grant, as a JRH employee he likely had regular interactions with and supervisory roles over TDOC offenders. This hiring decision may have jeopardized the safety of JRHH offenders and other employees. Internal control and compliance deficiencies. The investigation revealed deficiencies in internal control and compliance, which contributed to the investigative findings of this report. The noted deficiencies include: Deficiency 1, the TDOC did not detect that JRH employed convicted felons. The TDOC did not detect that JRH employed convicted felons. The TDOC did not detect through its grant evaluation and monitoring procedures that JRH employed 2 convicted felons until after the employees were terminated. The JRH director's son-in-law, a former TDOC employee convicted of attempted second-degree murder solicitation of an inmate while working for TDOC, was employed by JRH from February 17, 2014 through June 29, 2018. In addition, a registered sex offender was employed by JRH from August 9, 2018 through October 3, 2018. This deficiency directly resulted in the investigative findings of this report and may have put the safety of JRH offenders and other employees at risk. Deficiency 2, the TDOC did not detect that JRH management employees accrued and used leave in violation of JRH policy. The TDOC did not detect through its grant evaluation and monitoring procedures that JRH management employees accrued and used leave in violation of JRH policy. JRH policy states, annual leave is not paid or accrued by Hay House, Inc. Certain management employees, including but not limited to the administrative secretary director's wife and the facilities manager director's son-in-law, received vacation, sick and excused leave, although no leave was authorized in JRH personnel policies. Investigators could not determine the total questionable leave taken by employees during the period due to inconsistencies between timesheets and leave balance records. This deficiency directly resulted in certain questionable compensation paid to the director's son-in-law, as noted in the investigative findings of this report, and other questionable leave paid to employees that could not be accurately calculated, and increases the risk of fraud and misappropriation.
Great. I know you know the drill. Feel free to look at me, not the camera.
Wells groups and things.
Okay, so this was, let me go look. 11 months ago, July 14th, 2024, a year ago, Ernie came on my panel. He made me promises he didn't keep. He denied, I believe. We're going to go back and listen just to make sure, the hotels that you hear him on Ziggy say that he now agrees he went to. You hear him lie to me about Kathy, the friend, or Kathy Marsh, where he stopped at on the way to the racetrack to check the hotels. So I might actually have to run up the street or downstairs. But I'm going to let this play and you guys listen, and I'll be right back if I do have to step out for a minute. But I think this is important to go back and listen to how Ernie lies and has ignored me since this day. Blocked me and all. Come on, Ernie. Come grab a link, you little fucking liar. Hey, I want to know how you know Bam. We're going to find out soon. Okay. Let's put this on.
About her. I have never personally seen one of her videos. I've only watched a couple of videos on the psychic the psychic Raven. And again, I can't speak on these people because I don't know these people personally. I don't.
All right, Ernie. My cue. Everybody's curious about Raven. What can you tell us 3 years later about Raven?
Well, I never met Raven. I just, like I said, it was online. Stuff was online and everything. And everybody thinks we had a lot to do with each other. We didn't. We really didn't.
And after further thinking and going back after having Ernie on my panel this day, I had gone back right after this, if I remember correctly, and I watched some of Dawn. The funniest fucking shit. Dawn was all for the psychic Dusty at the beginning of Summer's case. Not cage, sorry. At the beginning of Summer's case. Dawn and Dusty were friends. Guess who came to Summer's case with Ernie? Dusty still ain't grabbed the fucking link. Juanita still ain't grabbed the motherfucking link. Ernie's been ignoring me since this. In my opinion, Ernie's shady as fuck. Now, what was somebody in my chat saying a couple weeks ago about Ernie's being looked into for some pedo stuff and missing kids? I need to find that. So if anybody can link me to that, I would highly fucking appreciate it. I think this right here, where Ernie was on my panel, shows he's a liar, and I think it's very important. Shows you where his connections were and how his stories have changed. Ernie, please grab a link and tell me where's that information you said you were going to give me. You never fucking did. Because we're going to listen to you say that you were going to give me this information again. I have a whole lot of Ernie shit to go over this next week. I'm already on an hour and 21 minutes. Y'all got me for like 40 minutes, and we're going to listen to this bitch ass lightning kitten right now.
Like what I just said right there. I mean, the only reason I would got in affiliated with people with psychics and stuff is what the TBI told me. The TBI told me plainly. I mean, that's for their own words. Is you'd be amazed by how many cases are actually solved by people who give us tips that are psychics. That's just what, and that's, if you look at it, if you go on Google, you can find that out yourself too on that. So that's where I got that at. And that's all I know about psychics. I don't know nothing about psychics. I don't have no, in our organization, there's around 87, 88 members right now. And there's no psychics in our organization.
So I asked you earlier, and you answered me in the chat.
Huh? What'd you ask me?
You, in my comment section, you left a comment, and I said, what did you say?
I don't know. I said 3 or 4 things. You was talking about the Hay House?
Yeah, the Hay House. You said you
the
worked
Hay
there
House?
for 15?
Yeah, I worked there for 3 years, 2.5 years, 13 through 15.
Okay, and was any of them people that got arrested?
Well, yeah, they was there. They was there. They was there. It was off and on there. Yeah.
Okay, remember the other day you told me you picked up files from that Kathy and Kelly? Is this the house you stopped at?
You talking about files? No, that is not the house. We stopped on the side of the road. It was on the highway. We met them on I'm trying to think. Their house was on the highway. It was on the highway road. We didn't even. It was on like a main highway or something. We didn't have to go into. As I recall, I mean, it's been 3 years ago. So I mean, 2.5, 3 years ago. But
do you have the messages from that? Do you have the messages?
There's a video.
From that?
There's a video of us going. I mean, I'd have to look at. Tina probably had the video. I mean, I don't have the video. They took photos of us, me grabbing the files. We had a camera crew. They took photos of me actually getting the files from, because she said she didn't want to be on camera. I never forget that. So they handed me the files, and they took photos of me, or pictures of me doing that. So I don't know. You'd have to find it. That'd be back in the day, like when we first went.
Okay.
Who was live? 1, 2. I'm trying to think how many cameras we actually had there. I think it was 2 cameras there, and we had 3 or 4 phones. People going. I mean, it's pretty wild. And it's going to be on probably a live that was probably one of the channels taken down or something. But Predator Hunter Nation probably has it. You have to go all the way back to the Summer Wells thing. It was the day that we searched the racetrack. So I mean, If
Yeah,
you
but
want to,
those videos have disappeared.
well, you have to talk to Tina about it. She may have took them down. What about Facebook? Facebook's where we weren't even on YouTube then. It was on Facebook, maybe.
Okay, hold on.
We didn't get on YouTube until like way after that day, that a couple of days after that or something.
I'm looking for a certain live since I have you on panel, but I gotta find it. Was it their last one?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Little operation they have, like Operation Feed the Breakup, the that kind of stuff that you're seeing them talk about. But
would happen. I mean, he doesn't really.
My hair being nasty, I never comb it, or blah 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 blah. Well, little do people know, I only have a mohawk of a dreadlock, and I actually have hair, and I comb it all the time. Actually, it's very soft, or it will get caught up with my
So I
mohawk.
like to run my fingers through it like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a mohawk, guys. Controls.
Lisa says I look hideous, even though the bitch never shows her real face. Your little profile picture, Lisa, looks like a fucking cartoon that's on coke. And why does Ernie owe me receipts? Why do I feel special? I don't feel special, but Summer's special. And she is also the reason why we're here. And Ernie's been to the property. He's been harassing Candace. He's been seen with Candace far off in the fucking distance. He worked at the Hay House. He involves himself. He's being looked into for child pedophilia and kidnappings. He has admitted to that. Ernie has done some pretty fucking criminal things in life, Lisa. And you also are welcome to grab a link at any time, you little bitch, and come up here and debate me, because for some reason you think you know everything. Lisa knows everything. Lisa, your information is just as fake as everybody else's. Now, why don't you tell us why you're so involved in Rose Bly's case? Do you have Rose, Lisa? Do you have Summer, Lisa? I think they're questions that we can ask, since you're so fucking involved and you suck Larson's dick like a motherfucker and he has a missing wife, right? I mean, you go to all these missing people conventions and you're involved, and you have been far before Summer went missing, since Rose's case. And since, Lisa, you think you know it all, please grab a link, cunt. Because ain't nobody scared of you. You think you're smart. You just wanted to come over here and think you could be a bully, but I promise you, you can't bully a bully. I'll admit it. So, since you have a problem, and I also believe you know Prayer Garden in real life, Lisa, I think you're shady as fuck. Why you sucking Ernie's dick? We just watched the Hay House, and why the Hay House was closed down, where Ernie worked at the time. Yeah, that's what your face looks like. Show your real face, Lisa. Don't come on here and say someone looks hideous when nobody even knows what you really look like. I'm going to say you hide your face because you're hideous as fuck. However, Ernie owes Summer receipts, not me. He owes the missing child who he's played fuck shit games in. That's who he owes receipts to. And if you have a problem with it, you could please take it to your fucking channel, where you spew your fucking lies and think you're fucking smart as shit when really you're just a hiding icon. Much like Prayer Garden. Hideous. Ain't no one scared of you.
Didn't tell you I have a mohawk.
They don't want to talk about Mohawks.
They don't want to talk about Mohawks or what they mean.
Wow. Really, Lisa? Hold on. We're going to clip that and we're going to put that right on my community wall. Let's do that right now. More shady shit. You've got to be kidding me. Now Ernie is Lisa's brother-in-law. Y'all find that shit shady? Come on, Lisa. Tell us some more hidden secrets. Why didn't you tell us that 3 years ago? Oh, hold on. I got to go to Canva. Because we're going to make sure that's loud and clear. Your brother-in-law. You have got to be shitting me. Wow, Lisa. Keep telling on yourself. Why are you involved in Rose's case? Does that mean that Ernie was involved in Rose's case? Should we be looking at Ernie for Rose Bly going missing? Hold on. We're going to make sure this goes on the community position post for the people that ain't watching, that see my community post, so that they know that after 4 years, you're going to come out here and tell people Ernie is your brother-in-law. Wow. Hold on. I am live right now. Lisa Dimwit always has something new to say. Where is Rose? Ernie? You're so bright, you dumb cunt. Thank you for getting yourself more caught up. Back to Ernie on my panel. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is, Carrie.
Yeah,
Charlie
Really
was a good
sick.
guy.
we got him a
remember Charlie.
nebulizer for a while to help him. I mean, the dude is 70 years old, so it's really dangerous if you get sick when you're 70. He didn't really know what we were talking about when we said that we wanted to start an online petition for him.
Florida. It was some sort of dragon lizard thing.
I don't know about
I think it was a monitor of some sort.
It was big though. He said.
Anyways, it was massive. And
So someone coming on here using Lisa Kay's picture and her name, saying they're related to Ernie, is now going to say she's not related to Ernie. How about this? Grab a fucking link and show your face. Now that you're not Lisa Kay, grab a link. Let's see who you really are. No matter who you are, you're a little caught up, ain't you? Even if you want to troll. Grab a link, grab a link, grab a link.
And it actually didn't want us to get together with Charlie because Charlie is a whistleblower. And so we really, really can't wait to talk to you guys about that. So that's coming up. He said maybe tomorrow. DB as well. We have some more information that I'm not ready to release.
Students at Turnabout Ranch.
Hold on. confused. Hold on. Yeah, that's Lisa's channel, all right. Look. Let's go see. Looks like Lisa K has something to say to me, don't it? Why you over here trolling? You're such a liar. This is your channel. That's the picture. It's the same name. Then the real Lisa needs to come on and come into my chat and show herself. I think what had just happened is you fucked up, Lisa. Didn't you? I'm not Lisa K. I'm Lisa K. Troll. Grab a link. Yeah, Carrie, go let her know. Let's see if this is her. Tell her to come in the chat as the same person as this Lisa K. I want to see 2 Lisa K's in my chat that are different. Because to me, that's her channel. Right? Even though she on here doesn't seem to like Ernie, but now you're going to come into my shit with the same name as her and say that's your brother-in-law. I'm done playing games with these fucking people. That looks like her fucking profile to me. Small H. Let's see. Yeah, you might be right. However, why are you trolling her? Tell the truth, Crystal. While you're in here saying you're not really Lisa and pretending to be somebody, you're telling me to tell the truth while you're over here lying. Is that what I'm hearing? Why don't you tell the truth? As you can see, you're the liar. Oh, you know what? This must be Ernie. Let's tell the truth. Quit derailing. How about that?
It started off as a show. It started off as a reality show, reality TV. But we was busting real predators, and we was doing it on. That's what we was doing it for. That's what it started out as. I didn't know that we'd ever be drug into what we got drug into, and that's the thing.
Was Summer's case supposed to be a reality show?
No.
Okay. Did you guys have producers or anything set up?
Oh, we had a guy that worked for The Walking Dead, does some things. He done for Walking Dead, stuff like that. But our main deal, yeah, go ahead.
What's his name? There's a reason I'm asking you. Either way, truth hurts. I'm not a Lisa K fan. Lisa has played a lot of games. In Summer's case, she thinks she knows fucking everything and everybody, and she has all the information, but never once shows receipts. And then she'll come out and say, oh, well, this is true because I know, but I can't show you. I'm not doxing anybody. So we're just supposed to believe. I just said that piece in the pod. Still doesn't make me like Lisa. We'll delete that, though. Since we did discover it's not Lisa, we can delete that. I still think Lisa's shady as fuck. And I wouldn't doubt if her and Ernie are really friends.
Dalton?
Oh, no. That ain't who I thought. I was waiting for you to say the one that did the Night of the Living Dead here in Pittsburgh. It's huge.
No. I probably know who he is if he gave me the name, but I don't know that world anymore. I used to be in that world, not really more.
Okay, so tell me about your wrestling. And thank you for coming back up.
Okay.
Tell me about your wrestling.
My wrestling.
Yeah, like you wrestled.
Yeah, I went 97, 98, 99, 2000, something like that. 99, 2000. Over 3 or 4 years, yeah.
And you met a lot of people doing that?
Oh
Is that
yeah,
how?
yeah, I know a lot of people.
What
Still, I
made you
mean,
want to do? What made you want to do Predator Hunter Nation and ROC and Liberty and all the
well,
other?
I mean, I work well.
Wait. First, before I ask that, what is the Liberty anti-trafficking thing?
No, Special Forces of Liberty, anti-human trafficking. That
Yeah, what is that?
no, it was okay. So it's a group of lawyers that put together these bills, and we went and submitted these bills in front of all these states, and the majority of the bills got passed. If you look now, there's like 37 different states that carries our bills that we started off with. So pretty much we had to go, and you can't just
Okay, Ernie, I want to see these bills and I want to see your name on them. I want to see what bills you had passed.
submit them. You hand deliver. You got to hand
Those
deliver and talk to people.
Are those the same 37 states that you're licensed in to do Bill Bondsmith?
No, no, no. I was only bail bondsman in Arizona and Tennessee when I actually did it. So in North
Okay.
Carolina, I've done some things in North Carolina too. How about you?
Oh. Tell me about Lady Justice, Ernie. How do you know Lady Justice, Ernie? Why is there another Bill Bondsmith involved, Ernie? Saying they seen Summer and Candace coming out of the woods next to her house on White Boys. You want to tell us about the other Bill Bondsmiths you hang with? Do y'all have a club? Much like the Psychic Club? Oh, that's right. Lady Justice is involved in that too. With mystery angels and collecting money and scams. I think that's coming up. Let's keep watching. Because I thought you said right here to Benny that you was licensed in 37 states.
No, 12 states as a private investigator.
Private investigator. So you've done private investigative work?
Yep.
So have you been in touch with any of Dawn's private investigators? You would think if you're a private investigator, you can offer them some support, right? They would want to come to you.
Well, if they wanted support, but if they already knew what was going on and they was wanting other things, they investigated me. So I mean, they were the ones wanting to investigate me, or the other way around.
So how does that work now that you have like warrants and felonies and criminal
Well, I don't
stuff?
have felonies. I don't know where you get that at. I don't have felonies. I have a warrant. I have a warrant in Kentucky. Everybody else makes it out bigger than what it is, but it is what it is.
What's it for? Do you know?
It's a $5,000 warrant, but they're not going to put no $20,000 to go to another state for all this time. They're not going to do it. Plus, I don't even know why they even bother with it. But it's okay. I ain't worried about it. I just don't go to Kentucky.
What part of Kentucky are you from? Up near Ohio or near Tennessee?
Near Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee's my home. I love Tennessee.
So did you know that Officer Hass that Andy and Jody Sue knew? Hold on, guys. Somebody's playing with my computer. They kicked me out. Something happened. I was kicked out. See, I get derailed all the time when I'm trying to show stuff. Let me go back a few minutes.
That we started off with. So pretty much we had to go, and you can't just submit them. You hand deliver. You got to hand deliver and talk to people.
Are those the same 37 states that you're licensed in to do Bill Bondsmith?
No, no, no. I was only bail bondsman in Arizona and Tennessee when I actually did it. So in North Carolina, I've done some things in North Carolina too. How about you?
Oh, because I thought you said right here to Benny that you was licensed in 37 states.
No, 12 states as a private investigator.
Private investigator. So you've done private investigative work?
Yep.
So have you been in touch with any of Dawn's private investigators? You would think if you're a private investigator, you can offer them some support, right? They would want to come to you.
Well, if they wanted support, but if they already knew what was going on and they was wanting other things, they investigated me. So I mean, they was the ones wanting to investigate me, or the other way around.
So how does that work now that you have like warrants and felonies and criminal
Well, I don't
stuff?
have felonies. I don't know where you get that at. I don't have felonies. I have a warrant. I have a warrant in Kentucky. Everybody else makes it out bigger than what it is, but it is what it is.
What's it for? Do you know?
It's a $5,000 warrant, but they're not going to put no $20,000 to go to another state for all this time. They're not going to do it. Plus, I don't even know why they even bother with it. But it's okay. I ain't worried about it. I just don't go to Kentucky.
What part of Kentucky are you from? Up near Ohio or near Tennessee?
Near Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee's my home. I love Tennessee.
So did you know that Officer Hass that Andy and Jody Sue knew?
Do I know him or did I know? Or what are you asking about the question?
Have you ever met him?
Yes.
You have?
I know all of them. I know all of them.
Okay, so what
I
can you tell
know all of them. I know all of them.
Do you think he would be a suspect in Summer's case?
No.
Okay, Jody Sue seems pretty concerned about him at times.
I don't think law enforcement had anything to do with it, but I know all of them. All of them, just like I know all the ones in Harlan and everywhere else. You go to Tennessee, look, when you've done any kind of bail enforcement or bounty hunting, you have to learn to work with these people. So you learn people, and at one time there was how do I say this? You just learn people, let's just say, and they get to know who you are. And but yeah, I know all the law enforcement.
So what about, do you know Sharfy?
Sharfy. Name rings
Donald
a bell.
Sharfy?
Name rings a bell.
So have you ever spoken to, so you've worked in the Bill Bonds area of Tennessee, right?
But yeah, Tennessee's one of the biggest states for bounty hunters and fugitive recovery agents.
So do you know a lot of other Bill Bondsmith?
I do.
Okay, hold on a minute. I want to see if you know this one. Give me 1 second here.
You have to remember, I was licensed in '98. I come out of the NABA, which is the National Association of Bail Enforcement Agencies. Bob Burton is one of my main mentors. But go ahead.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I'm just looking for a video.
Okay.
I want to know if you know this lady.
Not Bama Williams, is it?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I don't know her real name.
Lord God.
Just give me 1 second. I gotta find it.
Well, let me get something to drink while you're pulling this out.
Yeah, go ahead. It shouldn't take me long though. You know what? I could probably just look her up there. What's so funny, who's peas, is I'm rolling a joint. The funniest thing about all of this is if you listen to the new live that we were just going over with Ziggy, which we will get back to it. But if you listen to that, where I was when I stopped was Ernie talks to all the people that party with Candace and Dawn. Chad's one of them people. Vicky Dykes is one of them people. What's the other one's name? Bill Bentley or whatever. the one they were saying was Wild Bill at first, that's Dawn and Candace's people. So there has to be a reason. In my opinion, Chad hasn't come out and spoke. He doesn't talk to nobody. Hey, Gene. Yet he's been accused of a lot of shit, even to the point where, and I can't share it because 6 Up strikes me because she's a cunt too. I don't like a lot of creators. Can you tell? I'm not ashamed of it neither. 6 Up struck me 10 fucking times. Okay? Her strikes didn't hold. 2 of them did. However, she lied to YouTube and told them she had a court case against me and couldn't prove it. So the 3rd strike didn't hold, and that's why I'm still here. Hi, Jennifer. Bitch. Anyways, Karen Elliott, my aunt's niece, is the one that brought Chad up and said that Chad put dirt on her parents' graves, and she was asking Chad questions, and Chad looked suspicious. Then you have Fred. Chad was on the road. He can't even get the time right. He can't even, him and Laura both, can't get right if Candace parked at the bottom of the driveway, the top of the driveway, where Chad was standing. The story changed a million fucking times. Is it possible Chad Arnold was on the street that day? 100%, absolutely. Did Chad see anything? It's a possibility. However, do you think after his name has been thrown around a million trillion times that the police haven't questioned him? Don't you think they would have arrested him by now if they thought he had anything to do with Summer? Here's what I see. Karen Elliott and Fred Hill, the siblings, blaming Chad. Them is Dawn and Candace's people. That's who they partied with. And Ernie has stated that he has spoken to all the people that party with Dawn and Candace. Pull Chad on your panel, Ernie. Is that who you're speaking to? I think it's made up. I don't think Chad has anything to do with anything. And I think it's just another name that Fred was throwing out. And when Karen did her interview with 6 Up and got caught up in her bullshit lies, now she has to go with it. Y'all both 30 as fucking crooked as fuck. I want you to tell these people how Karen worked at the AmeriCorps when Layla went missing. Which, by the way, I've spoken to Layla's mom, beautiful woman, in Facebook right before they banned me, and I'm hoping to get in touch with her again because me and her were having a really good conversation. But she was unaware that Fred's sister worked there, or that Fred's sister said that she found Layla's clothes falling out of the ceiling of her bathroom or wet somewhere. There was 2 different clothes. But Karen Elliott had brought Layla's name up into the case, even stating that the girl may have been in her parents' home. And even stating that it may have been her clothing that was hidden in their home. That's a fucking problem to me. Yeah, no, I want to see it. I definitely want to see it. Peas, and I appreciate that. I'm not really sitting here out here trying to be a bitch, but these people have put me through the ringer, including 6 Up, and that's nothing against you. I just don't think 6 Up's a good person. I think she's a little too close to Fred's sister and Tragedy Pimps Exposed, who I believe both are from here, where I live. Just like the rest, they don't show their face. What the fuck are you hiding from? Let us see that profile picture is really what you look like.
Because it's taking me too
I'm
long.
leaving that too. Ask Tragedy Pimps Exposed.
That didn't work. Let's go.
Karen put Layla's name into it. She said Layla. Go watch her interview. Karen never mentioned that was Ziggy's kid's clothes. And why would Ziggy's kid be changing in Fred's house? They have a hotel and a place to stay, Airbnbs that Christy Vincent paid for and gave her. Because she has property there and allowed Ziggy to stay in it. Even
I'm just
though
trying to pull up a picture.
Christy Vincent will also say she sold all of her property in Tennessee and moved. However, she still has a property she gave to Ziggy for the vigil. Another lie. All these people Ziggy connects to. Isn't it crazy? And you marry a suspect. How does that happen? I mean, it ain't like you just tripped and fell on his fucking dick. Just saying.
A good picture. Anyway. That's not the right video. Here we go.
I will never, ever understand why anybody thinks it's okay that Ziggy married Fred or lives with Fred or got this close to Fred, especially when 4 months prior to them announcing their marriage, he was on a phone with her complaining that Laura don't love him enough and he loves Laura and he's afraid she's going to move back to West Virginia or Virginia, wherever she's from. He was all about, oh, look, you're trolling me. Hello, ugly poo, the person who can't show their picture. I'll keep you here, but I'm going to ignore you. And did Ziggy and Ernie have a thing? Just wondering. Oh, yeah. I believe they brought Dusty in it together with Dawn Wills. Isn't that odd? Because Dawn was a huge Dusty supporter month 1 and 2.
Who does the woman work for? AAA?
I forget the name of her company. It's not, it's a different county. Hold on.
Aztec?
So she was featured on White Boy's channel. This woman's a Bill Bondsmith. Do you know her?
Her and her husband both. Oh, God. No, never mind.
No, it ain't never mind. She said I did it before she got off the thing. She said Candace Wellwood with the
one that said the one that they.
There's Arnie admitting he knows Lady Justice and her husband, the Bill Bondsmiths. You guys need to remember that. Go watch White Boy. Go watch what that woman told White Boy.
They said that she had the one that's. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
So you know her?
I know of her. She's only a bounty hunter when she's doing her meth and stuff. But anyways,
So what do you know about her?
she's full of shit. But anyway, she's not licensed. She's not licensed. She's not on a.
You'll see why in a minute. This is serious. Can you tell me how you know her?
You got the.
Ernie, I'd like to see your license because she is licensed. So is her husband. I looked it up. Their Bill Bondsmith agency is 100% fact. It really runs. They really bail people out of jail. They really work with people at the jail in a different county that she lives in, which, by the way, is what? Closer to Nashville? However, she is licensed. I would love to see your license to be a Bill Bondsmith and a PI, and I'd like to see your certificates for your child trafficking classes.
Video, we'll walk through the video.
Well, more than that video, Hold on, let me show you something. My concern about her
you fell asleep because they have medications. That's why they ask you, are you on any medications? What medications are you on? If you're on medications, like they'll do your blood test. Hi, Mary. How you doing, love?
I'll see it found that. Yeah. Candace thinks.
Remember, I was going to do the interview with the family member. He backed out.
I thought you might.
I figured he would too.
Yeah, because he knows more. Don said the adults get taught in a different.
New. Is it Dodie or Dottie? Chip will be right.
So are you looking at what I'm looking at?
I mean, I see it, yeah.
Okay, well, if you look at your screen, you'll see Lady Justice is on my screen on Mystery Angels during or right before or right after, because it's the only video left on that channel, right? But she's on here, and she was a big part of helping Chip collect for the billboards and fundraisers overseas. So if you know her, I'm a little concerned since she's getting on White Boys and stating that I did it bam or bang, whatever she said. So if you have information about her. So this woman gets on White Boy's channel, tells them she sees Candace coming out of the woods. She knows where Summer is. And then right before she hangs up with White Boy, or White Boy gets mad at her and tells her she's full of shit, she gets pissed off and says, I did it. Bang. And gets off the panel. She gets on the White Boy's channel and tells us she took Summer. Y'all go watch Lady Justice on White Boy's panel. Her, it would be helpful.
Well, I mean, I looked her up, and her husband, and I think maybe her husband might be licensed as a bail bondsman, but she is not credible as a bail bondsman. No, not that I know of. Not at that time.
So
she
what do
gave
you say?
her husband's name. I'll have to look it up. It's in the files. I mean, I have to go back through FCRA records, and I can look into that and see. But I think he may have been an actual bail bondsman, or he may help with skips. I mean, I'm not really sure about if he's really legit or not, but I think he might be. Somebody said he might be. So, but she's not. She's not. Not that I know of.
All right, Ernie, can you just give me 1 minute to set some rules here?
Yeah, go ahead.
In my chat, I agree to disagree for all the new people coming in. However, this is my panel, and I do fine at asking questions. And if you don't like it, you can leave, or I'll make you leave. Okay? I'm here for Summer. I have real questions. I'm not here to joke around or talk about sex or all that other stuff. I want to know Ernie's point of view, since he has so much information and he knows Dawn did something to Summer. I'm also trying to figure out who these other people are that have the same employment that he has, because it's important to Summer's case that if Ernie is not guilty of anything, that we're able to clear him of that. Okay? So please, if you don't like the way I run my chat or my panel, leave. For the rest of you that support me, thanks for being here. Ernie, thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So, I find this important because she was so involved in the billboards, and then she calls White Boys and she plays these tricks. So I find that an issue. She's into the psychic shit. Okay.
I heard about that. Do you want her file? Do you want her file?
Sure, if you have a file.
My buddy if you can get me I'll tell you what, if you could, like right now, if you could just send me an email, Operation ROC24@gmail.com, I'll send you
No,
over the
hold on
file.
a minute. Hold on. No, Jackie Crillo. I'm not saying I believe him. I'm saying I look at things here biasedly and unbiasedly. And if you followed me, you'd know that. What I'm saying is that I give everybody an opportunity to answer my questions. I'm not going to sit here after I'm done with my questions. I'll give my thoughts like I did last time. I'm not going to attack somebody who comes on my panel wanting to answer questions.
Look, I'll tell you
Nobody
what I'll
said
do. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you the answers that I have, all of them. That what I know, if you promise me that you'll do a show on the stand, if you'll do a show on him and him marrying a 12-year-old, if you'll do that, then you'll see where these people, all these new people, are coming from. That's the only ones that's really against me, anyways. It's pedo simps. But anyways, I don't care to. Anyways, it's about time. I already gave all my information to law enforcement, so.
So you want me to do a show on a stand for information?
On the stand. No, I'm talking about the channel's called The Stand.
I know who he is.
Well, how you know him? How you know him?
Because I watch you and Benny, Ernie.
Oh, so you know who he is. Got married 12-year-old.
I mean, I don't know nothing about that. If it's true, it's gross, but
Well, yeah, he admits it. But he tried to lie and say she's 15 first. Anyways, it's a 6-16. Now he's saying he done something with an 8-year-old when she was 8. So I don't know.
so what kind of show does it have to be?
No, you just do that like you're doing now. You're taking everything apart. I want you to take all his stuff apart. I want you to, be thorough, be detailed, and be honest, most importantly.
So you want me to interview the stand for information?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Isn't that kind
And
of
then
what
I
I
want you
do?
to take out what he said before, why he lied 5 times to try to cover it up. Like first he's like, oh, she was 15. She was 15. She lied
But
to me. She sent messages, stuff like that.
Ernie, do you realize that if you do that, like, I don't know if you followed me or not. I've had a lot of problems, some lawsuits filed on me and some other stuff.
How can you have problems? How can you have lawsuits
That
filed
if
on you
I
for that?
do that, wait a minute, listen, okay? You realize if I do that, I'm setting myself up, one, to create more enemies.
And then no,
then
you're going
I'm
to
not
gain. You'll
worried
gain more
about
people by doing
therefore-
that.
But I'm not worried about them numbers, Ernie. I just really want answers for summer.
Well, I mean, you have to be worried about the numbers if you're going to get it out there to the people, because people ain't going to listen to a person that's got 5 or 6 people on a show. I mean, seriously, if you want the numbers, you want to get out there, and it's all part. It ain't that it's all part, but it's part of it. The numbers are part of it. You wouldn't do any of this without the numbers. Seriously,
So you think numbers are more important than
I
the
didn't say
child?
nothing. That's your words, not mine.
No, that ain't my words, because I just
That's
said
your
to
words
you
just now. You just said it. I never
no,
said
my
that's more
words
important.
were I
I said
don't
they're
follow
part of it.
numbers. And
They're
you said
part
if
of
you
it.
want to get your word out, then you got to get more numbers, as if the numbers were more important than the
I never
missing
said nothing
child.
about more important. No, I did not.
Okay. So can you
I
tell
never
me
said
about
more
the
important. I
you tell
said
me
they're part
about
of it.
Lady
They're part of it.
Justice? Do you know, have Lady Justice and Dusty worked together?
I don't know who Lady Justice is. I only know Dusty. Everybody thinks I know these YouTubers. I don't. I don't have anything to do
You
with
just
these
said
people.
you knew her and her husband, that they're Bill Bondsmith, and yeah, she's a joke.
Okay, if that's Lady Justice, I know her by a different name. I know her by a totally different name. I didn't know her by Lady Justice.
Okay, well, she's known on YouTube by Lady Justice.
Okay, I did not know that. Sorry.
So what can you tell that can help? What information? Sorry, I had to step away and do a half breathing treatment. I hit my bong and was almost dying. Yeah, Lisa, it's me. I can see you. Did you see you had a troll? And I'm not lying about our relationship. Me and Lisa are not friends. We've had problems. She comes into my chat. I stay out of hers. I don't bother with people. No, you're not blocked. But I would like to give you a fair shake. And your little troll here, who is now trolling me as well. Look. Oh, they left. I kicked them out. But do you hear Ernie lying? He's saying he knows Lady Justice, and then he's saying, no, I don't know her. In like 5 minutes. If I step away again, I'll let you know. That can help Summer today that we could spread around.
Well, I mean, I've already done what I can for Summer. There's nothing new. Everybody's wanting to beat around the bush with other stuff. The fact of the matter is, Don and Candace is your main pieces right there. You get them to do what they need to do, and you've got it.
Listen, I agree with you, and I think most of YouTube and the world does too, because they were the last persons to see Summer. However, law enforcement has not arrested them. And it's been almost 3 years.
And law enforcement of TBI just took over the case here just a little bit ago. So they're actually a part of it now. Before they was just.
Okay. I just called TBI the other day to check on this. They share the case. I was told TBI and Hawkins County share the case. If you go back to the beginning of Summer's case, and that was by the TBI, if you go back to the beginning of Summer's case, Lawson told all of us people, all of us, there's a gag order. A judge at the grand jury and the TBI placed a gag order on Hawkins County because of the harassing phone calls they were getting from YouTubers. Because people don't know how to talk to people right. You get Benny calling Lawson, baby raper Lawson, baby raper Lawson. How could, not saying his son didn't, and it's not true, sometimes you got to hold in what you're thinking. Okay? Sometimes you got to talk nice to people and brown nose a little bit so you can get information. You can't call people and attack them. The problem I have with Benny doing that is we also hear Benny say, and I've covered it, maybe we'll get to it again another day, I'd have to find it, that he was doing favors for Tim Mullen, attacking other YouTubers, hiring We Can Bring You Hope for Tim Mullen. It's all been orchestrated by Tim Mullen. Something I found funny. Let me see if I can find it. Because I just did this. Oh, geez, my phone. It's probably my camera. Nope, I got a message. Hold on. I'm going to go to all these parts I put together here. Look, I'm going to show you. This is all the video. And I'm going to go find the part where Ernie won't trash Tim Mullen. Anybody find that odd? Ziggy asks Ernie about Tim Mullen. I want you to hear how he responds. I'll go look for it while you guys continue to listen to this. I know that, but why couldn't they be a part of it before, is what I'm saying.
They was just assistant. Hawkins County had it all.
What's your theory? What do you think happened to Summer? Do you really
I told you,
believe
Mom. I told you what happened to Summer. I don't have to say any more of it. I told you exactly what happened to Summer. Per Candace's own words.
Okay. So we all know Candace is good at playing hoaxes, right? How do you know Candace wasn't playing a hoax with you?
Because there's things that people can do, and you beat them out of the hoax. You make them drop that narrative. You drop that wall, and when you drop that wall, they expose things. They tell things.
So what do you think you did to drop Candace's wall?
I got her to fall in love with me, and I quit talking to her.
So what do you mean you got her to fall in love with you?
She fell in love with me. I've got things that you all have never seen. I've got text messages, probably about 50,000 text messages that you all ain't even seen. It goes way back, like literally
you
like.
went and flirted with her to see if it was like throwing shit to a wall.
No,
and
I never
stick?
flirted with her. No, I never flirted with her. I give her the BBD, and that was all it took.
What's the BBD?
The bigger, better deal. I give her what she thought that she thought she. I give them what they think they want. That's all I do. I do that every day in my life.
So you manipulated her.
How you say it's manipulation?
Ernie.
I let
You
her think
just
what
said
she
it
wants
was
to think.
manipulation.
I let her think what she wanted to think. Simple.
But you said oh my goodness. You made her fall in love with you.
I never made her. She fell in love with it on her own.
But was you writing her back like you was in love with her?
No. The only thing I was doing was responding. That was it.
Okay, but you do know that around that same time she was playing the same game with Benny though, right? Like
No, she's done with Benny at that time.
No.
I mean, I've got the whole timeline. I've got it all, every bit of it, like literally, like documentation,
But I mean,
blueprint
she
stuff, and I
was
turned it
going
over
on
to
his
them.
panel and saying, "I love
Look. I met
and
the
then
TV.
when
I
Benny
met
was
the
like,
TBI in
"Oh,
Tennessee.
Lawrence in jail.
I
I
went
don't
to
go
their
with
office to turn this in. So I'm telling y'all, trust me. I went to their office and turned it in.
Which office did you go to? Ernie. The TBI office? Did he get off? The hell is that about? He's back.
Did you you drop me? What'd you drop me for?
I didn't drop you.
They said I was gray in the back.
I don't know. That's so weird. You wasn't even on my panel. Your whole thing went away.
No, well, how'd I get back up? I didn't have nothing to get back up. That was weird. Hold on a
Put
second.
you back up. You came back up, and then I put you up there. I
don't even know how to drop back. I don't know how to do that.
Okay, whatever. Which TBI office did you turn it into?
Nashville. I had it on my Facebook. I had it on YouTube too when I went. So I did a live about it.
Have you ever talked to a Durant?
Durant?
Yeah.
Durant. Name is Durant. I know a Ray. I know I talked to a Ray.
That works in the TBI office?
Special Agent Ray.
Okay, so do you know anything about the fake Fed with Jody Sue? Or have you ever spoken to Scott or Penny?
Not I've heard stuff. Like I said, I don't try to get into too much with after what happened with us. I kind of got out of the Summer Wells thing. Candace stayed on the hook for a little longer, and then finally we finally just, the person that I had her texting that she thought was me wasn't actually me. So we had a couple different things going actually for Candace.
So when she was around Kathy, the friend.
I mean, you can reach out there and ask the TBI who Predator Hunter Nation is, and they'll tell you. I mean, we had an open portal with them.
Maybe I will do that. It would be interesting. All right. I was wrong about the clip with Tim. I listened to it briefly. We're going to listen to it. He blames Tim because Tim's into music. However, I want to go back. Look, I'm on longer than I usually am. I want to go back just a little bit. Do you hear what he's saying? He has an open portal with the TBI. Just go back and listen to this. I'm going to go back maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, at all.
what's your theory? What do you think happened to Summer? Do you really
I told you
believe
what. I
that?
told you what happened to Summer. I don't have to say any more of it. I told you exactly what happened to Summer.
How do
Per
you know?
Candace's own words.
Okay, so we all know Candace is good at playing hoaxes, right? How do you know Candace wasn't playing a hoax with you?
Because there's things that people can do, and you beat them out of the hoax. You make them drop that narrative. You drop that wall, and when you drop that wall, they expose things. They tell things.
So what do you think you did to drop Candace's wall?
I got her to fall in love with me, and I quit talking to her.
So what do you mean you got her to fall in love with
She
you?
fell in love with me. I've got things that you all have never seen. I've got text messages, probably about 50,000 text messages that you all ain't even seen. It goes way back.
So here's Ernie admitting to manipulating Candace. I make her fall in love with me so she'll talk to me. Now, remember the time period Ernie's talking about? Dawn had gone to jail and Candace was in love with Benny. Then Candace ran to Ernie when Benny told Candace he didn't love her back. Benny was really ass hurt over Candace being in love with him, if anybody remembers. Yes, Curse. Do you remember how mad Benny was over that? Benny was not happy about Candace saying that she liked him. He seemed like embarrassed. Really. Okay.
Literally,
that's actually that's like the timeline when Candace ran to Ernie. Flirted with her to see if it was like throwing shit to a wall.
No, I never flirted with her. I give her the BBD, and that was all it took.
What's the BBD?
The bigger, better deal. I give her what she thought that she thought she. I give them what they think they want. That's all I do. I do that every day.
Ain't that like big black dick on Datelines, BBD? You got a big black dick, Ernie? I wouldn't think it would be big. You're a tiny little thing. I bet you it's this little. Hard.
Every day in my life.
So you manipulated her.
How you say it's manipulation?
Ernie.
I let her think what she wants to think. I let her think what she wanted to think. Simple.
But you said oh my goodness. You made her fall in love with you.
I never made her. She fell in love with it on her own.
But was you writing her back like you was in love with her?
No. The only thing I was doing was responding. That was it.
Okay, but you do know that around that same time, she was playing the same game with Benny, though, right?
No, she's done with Benny at that time.
No.
I mean, I've got the whole timeline. I've got it all, every bit of it, like literally, like documentation, blueprint stuff. And I turned it over to him.
Panel and saying,
Look. I met the TV. I met the TBI in Tennessee. I went to their office to turn this in. So I'm telling y'all, trust me. I went to their office and turned it in.
Which office did you go to? You don't even know. The TBI office? Mr. Bill Bondsmith, PI. He don't even know what office. He can't. Oh, there he goes. Did he get off? Oh, he's back. Watch, he comes back. What the hell was that about? He's back. Sorry, I went back. I'm enjoying watching.
Did you drop me? What'd you drop me for?
I didn't drop you.
They said I was gray in the back.
I don't know. That's so weird. You wasn't even on my panel. Your whole thing went away.
No. Well, how'd I get back up? I didn't have nothing to get back up. That was weird. Hold on a second.
You back up. You came back up, and then I put you up there.
I don't even know how to drop back. I don't know how to do that.
Okay, whatever. Which TBI office did you turn it into?
Nashville. I had it on my
Okay.
Facebook. I had it on YouTube too when I went. So I did a live about it.
Have you ever talked to a Durant? I have.
Durant.
Yeah.
Durant. Name is Durant.
So when my first lawsuit with Chicken on a Stick came out when Jody was being bullied, I 100% called Durant and told him about the lawsuits. There was something else we spoke about. I just can't remember what it was. Penny. I think it was Penny, actually. And the fake Fed in the Discord saying that they were him or working with him. I turned the fake Fed into Durant and I had a personal conversation with him. Did I record it? Mm-mm. Did I put it on YouTube? Mm-mm. I didn't even mention it until just this year because I figure we're 4 years out. TBI and Durant is 100% on the case. Y'all should be aware of that. Do I trust TBI at this moment? Well, after me catching TT in my email, signing up and looking into her husband or her husband vice versa, doing the same thing, and they send me something back stating that I have to go to my local law enforcement, I have a fucking problem with that. You have a missing child with a woman who says she searched for Summer on horseback, is involved in all my lawsuits with the fucking Linda shit, who's playing fuck shit games, who says she's related to Frank Light, and that Frank Light SA'd her with 3 other boys when she was 3 years old, and that somebody who looks like Tim Mullen had taken pictures of her, and they just happened to fall on her family member in Washington County's desk, and she seen him as an adult years later, and now this bitch is up in my email, or her husband is, and then I got the threat from her husband on the phone. Your name might be Justin, but I don't fear a motherfucker, dude. Your threats meant nothing to me. Come get me. I'm here, Justin Hensley. Quit hacking my shit. Quit trying to launder money at the same time you sign into my life and my emails and my Cash App. You see, there's a pattern. All 3 of them work at the same time. And it's been going on since I spoke to you on the phone, sir. However, my Cash App is new. You've been doing it to my husband for 2 fucking years. Yeah. Who does that? Do you see TT coming out to dispute it? No, you scared bitch. I don't know what your deal is, but you better pray to fucking God I never meet you in real life. And that's not a threat. You just better pray to fucking God. Alright? Because I'm about done with your shit. Get out of my fucking Cash Apps. Get out of my emails. Tell us where Summer is, because in my heart right now, I truly believe you know. After catching you doing crimes in my Cash App and in my emails and on my life, all at the same time, I can guarantee, in my opinion, you got something to do with Summer. And maybe even that shady ass Assembly of God church you go to in Greenville. I'm done with your shit. I'm done with you going to places in disguise.
I'm done with you pretending to be Candace's friend and then writing me and making fun of her, making her mad over her cousin Chris Marcos. I'm done with your fucking games. Please understand that. And while you're at it, spread that to fucking Linda and Amanda Athey as well. Because in my opinion right now, you are the three fucking stooges with Squall. Only Squall's the fourth wheel that hides because she's a little bitch too. I've had it with all of you. Yeah, wow. Well, I turned it into the investigator that I've been talking to. However, I didn't follow up yet. I do need to do that. It's been the 4th of July, the weekend, and my life has been chaotic. I don't want to bug the dude like every week. I'm trying to call him once every 2-3 weeks. But there is an investigator here in Pittsburgh 100% looking into We Can Bring You Hope. Very nice guy. Way more able to work with than TBI or anybody in fucking Tennessee. Kind. Talks to people with respect. Big difference between here and Tennessee. And it's sad. Oh, you don't need to be sorry. But we're going to go back to Ernie because now, see, this is the thing. I want to know who all connects to TT. And anybody else. It's going to be caught. I haven't called Cash App yet. I'm trying to let it because they're still doing it. They're still doing it. So I'm trying to let it go for a little bit so that they can exactly pinpoint where it's coming from. I take screenshots of every one. I have the screenshots and I am going to turn it into everybody. My life has been chaotic also, so I understand it's hard to get that stuff done being sick. Yeah, it's just, you guys, my husband and I are still trying to work things out. I don't know where we're standing right now. We fight every day. We're trying. 22 years of marriage, it's hard to just walk away from. However, my husband has also interfered in Summer's case. And that's the reason why I can't forgive him. Because my husband didn't believe me that I could possibly be related to people in Tennessee, which I absolutely am. And my husband believes that now, only because he's heard me talk to the detectives. However, he has a problem with the way I acted after he ignored me, silenced me, starved me for a month, all kinds of shit. We're not going to get into it. I'm trying my hardest to forgive him. He's trying his hardest to forgive me. Hopefully it works out for us in the end. But I'm not over any of this shit. I've been extremely hurt being here on YouTube because I wanted to share a kid's picture and because people think I have ties to Tennessee because somebody in my family does. I had no fucking clue. That is the honest to God's truth. You see, I've been over here in Pittsburgh, in the Carrick area, Pittsburgh, since 2001. Raising my sick child who has needed 2 heart transplants, dealing with a first husband who committed suicide, dealing with my brother molesting my children and me walking away from that, and then having to go to court over that, and then my mother hating me for years and sending messages like the ones you seen that I was forced to put out by my own locals on my community wall because they thought that that would hurt me. But truth is my mother's a fucking crazy maniac. And you could look up the public pretender that was in my brother's case and call him and ask him about how my mother came to court drunk and harassed him every day and sent threats to him. And you could call the judge who was also on a case that had to deal with my crazy ass fucking mother, who right now I hope is burning in fucking hell, along with my father, And any other relative or friend that had anything to do with the fucking bullshit African fake profiles that my mother had going on her fucking Facebook and the fake profile she's made. I mean, people could just do the fucking research themselves instead of getting on here and saying I'm crazy and causing problems. And the sad thing is that my husband has heard the stories 3 years we've been together from my whole family, but decided to go side with my family and hurt me. And that's what I'm trying to get over and move through, which is why I haven't been on here, because he is showing remorse. However, he takes that remorse away. Yes, that's what I'm trying to do. And I know I'm not crazy. I know my life. I know the people in my life. I know who I'm related to, and I know where they originate from. I know who has the last name Elliott in my family. And I know that Elliott is also a Morlock. And I know that they come from Tennessee. I just ain't heard it since I was 14 years old, and I am now 48. It took me a little bit to fucking remember. So I apologize that I went a little bit fucking crazy after being told everything. And then you got the fucking Preto name. Hey, Jody, where the fuck you at, bitch? Problem is, I'm sick and tired of the games that have been played with me because people don't know how to talk. And they want to accuse and make accusations. Any one of these motherfuckers, all they had to do was call me up, come in my chat, come on my panel, and ask me instead of attacking me and causing problems for me. Yes, it's possible my father was involved in criminal activity with people down in Tennessee. It is really fucking possible. And in Florida, and in Arizona, and California, where he owned borderland, but lived in Mexico, not on his land. He had an ice cream shop. He was killed over that ice cream shop. He ultimately died of a heart attack. But you see, in Mexico, ice cream shops, they battle each other. You can figure out why. They got to have the best, we'll call it ice cream. And if somebody's stealing money from their product, they fight. You can look it up. Look it up, because my father had an ice cream shop in Mexico, a business he owned. He was beat up, and he ended up going into cardiac heart failure and dying in Yuma months later, because where he lived on the border, where Jonathan Lee Riches just happened to suddenly show up on his property after my father passed away. Bitch, stay off my shit. I promise you, you go on that fucking property again and you're going to be met with fucking trespassing. Because when all's said and done, that property fucking belongs to me, you little fucking twerp. I don't know what the truth is here, guys. Here's what I'm learning. My family has a lot of fucking secrets. Does it connect to Summer? I don't know. I don't fucking know. That's the honest to God's truth. I keep to myself, and I don't like my family. I don't like a lot of people. Do you notice that? I hold grudges. Big ones. Oh, you want to know something else my husband did to fuck me? You know, as above, so below. Gary, him and her were flirting and having phone conversations behind my back for months. But here I am trying to forgive him. That's my real life. It's chaotic. It's who I am. I can't help the family I was born into. Did I want to bring all my family's information out here? Yeah, but not like this, because I have been a victim my whole life of my family. in many ways. I was trying to get that out. Summer reminded me of me when I was a little girl, the tomboy that loved to run wild and free and swing off of swings and ropes. Her family reminded me of my family. I don't know why I connected with Summer's case in the way I did. I have been unable to move on. I have tried. It's not really an obsession because my obsession is taking these bitch ass motherfuckers down. Like, that's not gonna fucking quit. I'm not going a fucking place till they all eat shit. That's a promise. Gavel, Krama. I hope you hear me loud and fucking clear. You're all fucked. Whatever money schemes y'all had going on, it will be found out. And I do believe the TBI is close to figuring it out. If you listen to Leslie Earhart, she said they're just missing a little piece. I don't know what that piece is, but I cannot fucking wait for them to find it. And do I know that my family had anything to do with anything? No. It could be something totally different. However, my family's criminal activities came out because of it, and they do connect to Tennessee. Rogersville, Ben Hill Road, and Light Holler Road, to be fucking exact. I believe in God. I believe I resonated with Summer's case for a reason. I'm not crazy. I'm not psychic. I don't think that I'm going to marry somebody from Summer's case like Ziggy or anything like that. However, I do want to see Summer's case be brought to fucking justice more than you could ever imagine. Do you hear me, Linda? Do you hear me, Chicken, Jody, Grandma Gavel, Squall? I hope you hear me loud and clear. I'm a good girl. I try not to get in trouble and get in criminal activity shit. However, I hold a grudge and I love payback. I'm from Pittsburgh. I thrive off the shit. I'm from a city of champions. And I promise you, when all's said and done, y'all are going to be eating shit. You're going to be paying me in court. We're going to have lawsuits. We're going to go about it the legal way. And I hope you all end up in fucking prison. That's the honest to God truth. You have destroyed my life. However, I'm going to fix it. And I'm going to do it right in front of you with you watching. I promise. All right, guys. Here's what I'm going to do. We are at the 1 hour and 24 mark. I keep clicking out of shit. I'm going to write that down. It is 9:41. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'm not coming back tonight. I thought about it, but I've already been on almost 3 hours, and I'm not going nowhere. I will be covering everything Ernie, past, present, future for a while. And Ziggy, since the bitch is back with a new office when she's poor and got to beg everybody for fucking food from Dollar General, right? I've had it with all your shit. I've explained some connections today where Ziggy lived in comparison to my father down in Miami, what her father does for a fucking living, and how I think some things might be playing out, but I can't tell you that I have fact or no truth because I really don't. I just know there's a lot of fucking secrets. Things I never knew because I've been sitting my ass, my fat ass, in Carrick for the last 25 fucking years, ignoring all these fucking people in my life. Maybe I shouldn't have did that. Oh, and Tracy Cinchler, as above, so below. Call my fucking husband again, and I promise you it'll be the last thing you ever fucking do on this earth. All right? Stay out of my fucking business. All right, guys. peace and love. I'll see you tomorrow. We will continue right where we left off here, and I'm going to try to get the video I took apart to actually work. See you all tomorrow. Good night.